Welcome back to the Powerful Pod. Thank you so much for joining today. Um, this is part two of my bodybuilding journey. Last time I left off kind of going over a few things. I'm gonna turn my lamp on. Let's see if it works. I love that, by the way. Just a little touchscreen lamp. So cute. Found it on Amazon or Temu, I think. Super cheap. But last time we talked, I was just going over my experiences, more on the physical and how it shifted to my mental health during bodybuilding prep. And today I just wanted to talk about how everything has changed, what I've implemented, different strategies for hormone and mental health support, for recovery, for not necessarily having body dysmorphia, because people don't talk about that, but also when you reverse diet, you're going to put on more weight. That is good. That's normal. That's healthy because bodybuilding, when you're about to do a contest for bodybuilding prep, you are so, I don't really want to say emaciated. That's not the right word. You're still fueling yourself. You're still eating a lot of protein and pushing up your carbs and stuff, but you are at such a low body fat percentage. It's just not healthy to have that year round. And it's not good for your mental health. So that's really kind of a recap from last week. If you didn't listen, great podcast. But today's part two of that bodybuilding journey. And I think after this episode today, I think I'm going to actually take a little bit of a break from talking about bodybuilding and talk more about it's like motivation, wellness, mental health, emotional. I want to have a whole episode about hormonal health and how important it is to stay on top of your hormones and stuff. So I'm really excited. I'm just going to take a little bit of a break from talking about bodybuilding, not because I'm over it, really, because I still love it. I'm still passionate about it, but I'm taking a break from competing. I still have a lot to do. I still have a lot to learn with bodybuilding. And unlike powerlifting, I guess there's so many similarities with powerlifting, but I went into competing in powerlifting with more information and just more preparation. But with bodybuilding, I wasn't as prepared. I didn't know what I didn't know. I know now what I didn't know. And I feel better about that. So, yeah. But I just wanted to say again, thank you for joining. I have Instagram, I'm Powerful Hippie. I have YouTube, Powerful Hippie. I also upload this on Spotify as well. So thank you for tuning in if you're on Spotify. It's just the Powerful Pod. So that's where you can find it on Spotify. I'll try to include all the links and stuff as well. Sorry, I'm trying not to sneeze. So don't make fun of me if you're watching on YouTube. Trying really hard not to sneeze. My allergies this time of year, spring in Florida, is just awful. And as a reminder, if you want to try the best pre-workout, non-stim pre-workout, creatine, protein, we have animal-based protein, doesn't taste like chicken, tastes like normal protein powder, like a whey protein, but without the dairy. Redcon 1, baby, the best supplements that I've used, sports supplements in general. Electrolytes, like we have so many different products. I love the Total War pre-workout, and then we also have a non-stimulant version, just a pump formula with neurotropics, with electrolytes, with other things, citrulline, circulation, right? So it's a great supplement. Totally recommend that. And I do have a discount code, so please use it at checkout. I will again include this in the little description show notes. It's just Powerful Hippie at Redcon One's website. Powerful Hippie all together, one word at checkout. And again, the link is in my Instagram bio, but I'll also put it in here. So yeah. Okay. So last week again, I discussed my limitations and why I had to pivot my bodybuilding show, what I learned from bodybuilding versus powerlifting, right? Powerlifting is great. Love it so much. The reason I took a break from powerlifting was because behind me, I'm not trying to, like kind of, I'm having brain fart. I'm not trying to kind of, gloat, I guess is the right word, but behind me, I have my master's degree. I have all my degrees behind me, right? I have a second master's degree, and I was really big into powerlifting, but then decided to go back to school, learn more. Thought I wanted to transition my career into communications / marketing. Decided that I wanted to stay in higher education as an advisor. still learning about what I want to do with my career, and that's okay. It's always a journey, right? So I took a break from powerlifting to focus more on this because this required more energy. Powerlifting requires energy, bodybuilding requires energy, and also I was working a full-time job while I was doing my second master's degree. So I just, again, you got to put your focus where you got to put your focus. You can always bring yourself back to different alignment after a journey ends. So again, once my journey with my graduate degree ended, I decided to do bodybuilding. And now that's kind of ending or just taking a break and I'm just shifting gears. That's fine. That's normal. That's healthy. You don't have to be so dogmatic about one thing. That's not on my little show notes today, but I just feel like I have to say that because I got so in the weeds with that, I think, when I was focused on powerlifting and then transitioning to bodybuilding. So yeah, last week I talked about injury, hormonal, mental health, but this week I really wanted to start talking more about what I have implemented since deciding to postpone my show, to clear my mind, my skin, my quality of life, to refocus my sleep, my hormones, and knock on wood. I don't know. Are you superstitious or a little stitious? I'm a little stitious. All right. Luckily, knock on wood, hormones are great. Mental health is better. Everything is better. Hair is better. Like a lot better. So I know what I know. And this kind of brings me back into the full circle that sometimes there are limitations and you just need to assess if this is worth it or not. I have had to reassess and assess, and I'm still reassessing, and I still don't know 100% because I'm kind of like a person that doesn't like to give up. But when I decided to cancel my show, again, that was December, so it's been almost 4 months. I can't believe it that since has gone by. But in that time, I've followed different rules to focus on realigning my physical health and mental health, but really to optimize my hormones for recovery and transitioning into a more healthy, balanced lifestyle. So this episode's really for anybody who just says to themselves, I want to be healthier, I want to be happier, I want to have better recovery, better sleep, better energy, better hormones, sex drive, mental health, all the really important things that we need to talk about in life. I'm no doctor, I'm just a person who likes health. But as a personal trainer, as an athlete, and as someone who's really into physical and mental health, there are signs and symptoms to everything, y'all. You got to listen to those signs and symptoms. The first transition, though, that has been so good for my mental health, and don't come at me, I'm a little bit different of a person, though. I have so much experience with knowing how to feel my body, listening to my body cues, knowing when I'm having cravings, knowing when I'm needing more hydration versus rest versus carbs versus more protein. Like I can listen to my body signals. It's taken me years and it's taken me lots of trial and error, different diets. I did a paleo diet, which is no dairy or wheat or like processed anything. It was super clean. I did that for a year. I learned so much about myself, my gut health, my body. And so again, this is indicative to me. It might be different for you. So listen to your coach, ask questions. This is just what's worked for me, specifically really for my hormonal health. I've noticed a huge difference. I'm so serial, y'all. I've had blood work done too. Amazing. So I'm really happy. Number one, though, is not weighing or calculating macros for the first couple months after I decided to transition from no longer doing bodybuilding to just back to having a healthy, balanced lifestyle. Now, as a personal trainer, I come from two different mindsets, depending on your goals. If you really have to lose weight quickly, weighing your food, calculating macros is such a great tool. But if it's too hard for you because you don't have the time or you're afraid of developing an eating disorder or disordered eating, which is a real thing that we need to talk about in the sport or as an athlete for any sport, but especially for bodybuilding, I've seen this happen to so many people and it really ruins your health. You don't know how to eat again, and it's so sad. Then you need to go see maybe a sports dietitian or a nutritionist. That's fine, right? But baby steps for me were better. So once I decided to not compete, then I had to kind of take a step back and relearn, what do I eat? What do I think? But luckily I did have a lot of tools in my toolkit as a personal trainer. One is the hand method. So I followed that for portion sizing for meals and snacks. So it's going to be like the whole inside of the palm of hand. That's going to be like protein. The whole fist is like veggies. A whole palm of hand or two palms of hands for carbs, and then one or two thumbs for fats. That's a great measurement tool. If that's still silly to you or you don't like that, then I say try to just look at protein for each meal. Aim for at least 20 to 30 grams of protein for each meal. Probably going to be around 3 or 4 meals a day, and then sprinkle in carbs and fats, not a ton, but enough to make a well-rounded meal. So usually that's like a half a cup of carbs, just like 1 or 2 tablespoons of fats, and then add in fiber like fruits and veggies, depending on, what you're eating. That could be more carbs or fats. Like avocados is going to be really high in fats. Strawberries and bananas are going to be a little bit higher in carbs. So it's just really good to track your food if you can. But I had tracked, y'all, for almost 5 months. I was freaking overweighing my food. And I know I can go back to that. And I am really happy that I have overcome any problematic scenarios, mental health wise, that I think would have occurred if I didn't say, hey, you are more than food. You are more than having to weigh your food. Food is a tool, but depending on your goals, you don't always have to weigh your food, and that can be detrimental to your mental health. It takes so much time too. So look at other ways to be creative about your meals and snacks and everything. So that's where I am right now. I have decided, I did weigh my food for a couple weeks, and I was like, you know what? This is exactly what I was eating. I've been eating almost exactly in the same way I was, just adding a little bit more carbs after I decided to reverse diet. So adding some more calories each week until I got to a certain amount of calories. And I'm good now. I stopped doing that January, and I haven't weighed my food since. So I'm grateful and glad for that. So number one was I've decided to not do that right now, but I think I will once I decide to go in a deficit, start checking my macros again. It is time consuming, so I have a better plan, which is meal prepping. That's another awesome way to get in your protein, make sure your meals are all good. And if you're weighing them, you only have to weigh it at once, and then you know the macros for each meal. So I really like that for lunches and dinners. Breakfast definitely as well. You can do like oatmeal, yogurt, smoothies, egg sandwiches, tons of options. I love food. Food is always my thing. I'm not going to demonize any food. I have tried bad diets. I've tried things that didn't work for me. I'm a guinea pig. I'm always interested in other things, but I'm not going to demonize food. There's a time and a place for anything unless you have serious allergies or problems. But yeah, read ingredients and look at that. Look at your options. You don't have to use a scale for everything. I just feel like I really needed to emphasize that because that's what I needed to hear. Like, number one is be calm, be good to yourself. Food is a tool. Protein's really important. That's really satiating, going to keep you full. Then add fiber, add some fats, make sure there's some carbs sprinkled in there, and just check how you feel. Sounds really easy, but that's where I am right now. Number two, though, not checking the scale. Funny, not funny story. After, I'd say a week after I decided not to do my bodybuilding show, I was checking the scale almost every other day. That was so overkill, especially because it was right before Christmas and the holidays when you make delicious food and you're around friends and family and you just feel guilty for not eating certain things, So, yeah, I decided I had to stop checking the scale because I needed to focus on how I'm feeling, not how I'm looking, which was hard. It's a hard reminder because I spent so much time saying, how do you look? How do you look? Look shredded? Do you feel shredded? Do you feel leaner? Do you feel okay? Not really a how do you feel? How's your energy? How's your sleep? How's your recovery? How's your workouts? How's your focus? Are you getting your period? Do you have sex drive? Do you have good quality training sessions? Are you motivated to go to the gym? How's your overall mood? Those became such better indicators of how I was feeling and looking. At first, it was harder. At first, I knew I was going to put on 5 to 10 pounds in the first month, and I did. I got to 140, and I was like down to 132. That's 8 pounds. Some of that was water weight, though, and water weight fluctuates so much, especially around menstrual cycles. You can change anywhere from like 3 to 7, 10 pounds sometimes, depending on how much you're eating, stress, water retention, all that jazz, bloating. So we know this. The fun parts of being females, yes, it's not fun actually at all. It sucks. It quite sucks. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm talking in a British accent to emphasize my point. But so I was deciding, okay, let's not look at the scale. And I'm glad to say I'm 146 right now. It's been 4 months and I feel great. And I have so much more energy. All my, issues that I was struggling with are back. Nobody wants to struggle with sleep or mood or energy or sex drive or not getting your period. I mean, it's not only is it embarrassing, but that's a toll on your mental health. You just don't feel freaking good, man. So that's where I was, and I was just over feeling that way. I had felt pretty bad in all those categories for over 2 months. Wasn't okay with pushing through. Maybe another time, place, maybe, I don't know. Now, also, I did take a break from cardio. As you might not know, I did have a slight knee injury. Don't really know exactly what it is. I think I had a slight tear or at the very least a bad strain. Not quite sure. Did not go to a PT. Let it rest. I did the RICE method, which is rest, ice, uh, oh my gosh. When you lean it up, I can't, and elevation. Let's see. I can't, I'm tired. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Forgive my brain. But I rested and I recovered and I didn't put pressure on it. And I just wanted to take my time with healing and decided that cardio at low intensity I could do, but just not every day. So I decided to take a break from cardio for like 2 weeks. Serious cardio. I'd still walk my dog or, low intensity cardio on the walking pad, but nothing crazy, not like incline walking or treadmill or the bike or high intensity interval training on the stair climber. For God's sake, no. I mean, it's great if you can tolerate it, but I was not tolerating it well. And I'm not trying to sound like a pussy. Maybe it's just because I'm older now and I feel like an actual weenie for saying this. But having to do an hour of HIIT makes me want to vomit. It's just not great. And that's just the reality of bodybuilding. If you can't do it for like at least a month, you probably shouldn't be a bodybuilder because that's probably what it's going to take also on top of diet. So anywho, not doing high intensity interval training and high intensity cardio. So now I can do low intensity to medium intensity cardio. My knees feel great. My joints feel great. I am taking time to do yoga and P90X stretch once a week. I love that program and protocol. Also, limiting caffeine is really important because, again, what I'm not trying to do is stress my body out. My central nervous system, my peripheral nervous system was definitely stressed. My digestive system was also a little stressed. I was feeling bloated. My stomach was a little lethargic, was feeling just a little constipated, which is so normal in bodybuilding. I don't really know if there's a way around it. I'm gonna have to do some more research. I was drinking so much water. Like, y'all, look at this. If you can't see, it's like a whole liter water bottle. I drink like 4 or 5 of these a day. But, things happen. It is what it is. So limiting caffeine, and that's also to help with my sleep cycle because I wanted to do everything I could to make sure that I was getting at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep every night because sleep is so important for hormonal optimization, for brain recovery, for digestion support, everything. Like it's just so important. Sleep is probably numero uno, man. So I decided to just cut off caffeine after a certain time period. I do not have any caffeine now. Anything, I would say anything at all. I try really hard, even just like a little green tea. Nothing after like 3 p.m. Definitely not. I try really hard. Sometimes, depending if I'm going to be working late or whatever, maybe I have like a lot of stuff going on, maybe. So that's really important. Speaking of trying to aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, and that changes, but it's really, really like important when you're in luteal phase. So a week or 10 days, I believe 7 to 10 days before you get your actual period, really try to get that sleep. Your body craves it. Like I will get bitchy, bro. I will get grumpy if I don't hibernate before my cycle. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like I need my sleep. And sleep, just again, recovery, rest, relaxation, hormones, all the things. When I don't have sleep, my body feels more like fight or flight. Like you can look in my eyes and you're like, oh no, did not get her sleep. Yeah, no, sleep is so important. Luckily, knock on wood, melatonin's great for that. Theanine, chamomile tea, blue light blocking glasses like 30 minutes before bed, my mild stretching before bed, limiting social media, trying to do more reading and light, activities like drawing, journaling. Those things really help calm my mind down. I have ADHD, so I've had to learn that, there's nature and there's nurture. And one of the things that you can really nurture is creativity, and that helps calm my brain waves, helps me focus, helps me feel like I'm doing something with my life, more realigned. So it's really important for me to continuously do that as well. So again, creativity isn't really on this list, but I think, well, practicing self-care is, and journaling is part of that for me. So that's going to go into my next one. Practice self-care a ton, especially if I were your coach, and I don't coach bodybuilding yet. I say yet. I need to do my own first bodybuilding show before I jump into the waters of bodybuilding coaching, because I don't really know all that it requires. So I will help you with bodybuilding movements, bodybuilding exercises, how to calculate your macronutrients, what protein goals, cardio goals to look like a bodybuilder. But prep for bodybuilding is a whole different ballpark, and I'm not coaching that now and if or ever. I don't know. I'm getting certified in bodybuilding specialist, by the way. I'm learning so much. It's so much information. I love the information. A lot of it I did do, though, when I was getting my personal training certification as well as my strength and conditioning certification. So both of them, there's a lot of overlap, but there's a lot of interesting things in the bodybuilding certification. I kind of want to talk about it because some of it's really weird. It's like there's a whole section all about like SARMs and steroids and stuff, and it's just interesting because I'm natty, bro. Besides taking mild ADHD medication, I'm so natty. So it's just interesting to me. I think I'm going to have to talk about that eventually because it's really funny. Speaking of ADHD, like I said, practicing self-care really helps with that. Journaling, making art, gardening, writing songs, walking in nature, yoga, sauna, or baths. These are my ways to practice self-care. For me right now, I'm focusing a lot on making art, gardening, yoga, sauna, or baths. Although I would like to do more walking in nature and more journaling, more writing songs. Yes, I like to write songs. I'm very creative. I play the drums as well. I was in drumline in high school. I have a little electric drum set right here. She cute. I have a whole bag of Yamaha sticks. Rock on. So I want to do more of that. And I feel like this whole thing has made me want to realize that I have time to do more of the things that I want to do, and I don't have kids, and I need to practice self-care and being selfish, because once you have kids, it can get really hard to remind yourself who you are, and then you have to find yourself again. That's scary to me. I'm going to be honest. That's like super vulnerable of me to say, but this bodybuilding experience has been so transcendent and has stripped me down to my like all the things. So I just want to share because it's so, psychologically speaking, such an interesting journey that I never expected to make me become more of myself, more in tune with what I need. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. So the next one I want to talk about really fast is supplements. So like I said, when you have ADHD, you can take medication. There's non-stimulant, there's stimulant. I'm not a psychiatrist. Please talk to your doctor. I'm not going to ask, or I'm not going to consult you on what medications you should or shouldn't take. That's totally up to you and your doctor. But I found there are some supplements that I've taken that have really helped with my focus, cognition, and energy. One is saffron, and then the other is L-tyrosine. And I've also tried Alpha Brain. I think you have to take it a while before you can really feel the effects of Alpha Brain, but I'm just going to do all the things naturally that I can, speaking, without having to go on medication forever type of thing. I think medication can be great. I did try Adderall. Didn't love it though. Didn't like the side effects. I will tell you, it makes you sweat. So I discontinued that after I tried it. Makes you sweat. You have a crash if it's not extended release. What else didn't I like? You have to go number 2 fast, with an hour of taking it, because it accelerates your peripheral nervous system, or your central nervous system, which accelerates your peripheral nervous system functioning. Digestive tract is peripheral nervous system. So I think you do your research. It can really help with your symptoms, but talk to your doctor, side effects wise, wasn't worth it for me. So I'm just looking at all the other holistic things I can be doing because I've raw dogged ADHD for 30 years, allegedly. Allegedly. So, no, I really have. Until this year, I wasn't diagnosed, but bodybuilding made me realize that, hey, might have something that needs to get a little bit of tweaking. And I'm so glad I emphasized that because had I not really advocated for myself, I would just been like, oh, I'm just me. I just can't focus. Before my period, I just crash out and cry all the time. That's not great. Don't do that. Don't be like me. I mean, do be like me in the way that I'm talking about educating yourself, advocating for yourself, talking to a psychiatrist or a mental health professional. Do be like me in those things because it's really important to get the help and support that you need. So important. So, besides all of that, I would really emphasize still stay in the gym, still work out. I did take, I think, 10 days from the time like December 8th is when I think I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. I was on the beach and I was like crying and I was like having an emotional breakdown. I was like, is bodybuilding worth this? I feel like horrible. My knee hurts. Chicken Little, all the things. It was just horrible. And I'm okay with being vulnerable and sharing this experience because I'm a transparent person. It was awful. I was not happy. And blah, is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. I'm clapping under the table. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I did start working out after the little 2 week break I took at least 4 times a week. And I've been doing I'm trying to do at least 4 days a week in the gym. But I'm also doing more cardio. Like I like bike rides or light jogs or like walking long distances, all the things. I want to get back into rock climbing. That's a great form of cardio, dude. Rock climbing is awesome. I did that in high school and college. It was fun. So I'm still working out. And right now I'm also trying to get more vitamin D outside in the sun. It can be really hard in the wintry time, so make sure you're supplementing or at least having your vitamin D levels looked at and getting blood work done to just make sure that, you're good there. And but besides all of that, the only last thing that I'm doing right now is really listening to my hunger cues, eating intuitively, not eating at least 2 hours before bed, drinking a ton of water. I do take electrolytes constantly. I do take creatine daily. I do have, I'm trying to think of all the other supplements. Beetroot powder is great. Yeah, so just doing all that. And now that I have gone through this bodybuilding experience part 2, because I tried it in 2016, crashed out even harder, didn't even know what was wrong with me, had to go on a whole journey of hormones and what adrenal PCOS looks like, which is what I was diagnosed with. Luckily, knock on wood, I don't really have any symptoms of adrenal PCOS. I will say seed cycling, the 10-day detox by Dr. Mark Hyman, having quality multivitamin, fish oil, trying to limit stress, really focusing on myself sometimes, especially before my period. That all really helps my central nervous system calm down. I think this is part of having ADHD though too, is you really have to practice self-care. And you feel in fight or flight mode all the time. So you really have to kind of force yourself to be more selfish so that you can take care of yourself, to take care of others. And that's not something that we talk about with ADHD. I'm going to have an episode on that. Don't worry. The whole ADHD discovery came through because of bodybuilding, just because I knew something was off. It wasn't just lack of sleep or lack of calories. It was those things really contributing to my side effects of not being able to focus and being unmotivated, especially with work, which was horrible because you never want to, impede your work from a hobby. No, I mean, it's not worth it. This is not my job. Bodybuilding is not my full-time gig, yo. Maybe one day. I don't know. Dana Lynn Bailey, give me your advice. Hit me up, girl. So anyway, now, lastly, before I go, because I just want to close this on a positive note, what would I tell myself prior to now? Well, I would tell myself a few more things. Number one, give yourself more time. Because not that I didn't need more time to cut down or not that I needed more time to build muscle. Luckily, I had a lot of muscle and I was cutting down fine, but I needed to work on posing. I really needed more advice on posing, transitions, feeling confident in a bikini with heels on with everybody looking at me. I really didn't. I felt weird and uncomfortable, and I just didn't have that stage, like I don't know. I just didn't feel like I was confident. So in all of that, I would say next time focus on what I could control, which probably would have just been like everything else, and then trying to sprinkle in posing and just getting advice, which I did, but I guess I needed to do better because my coach did tell me that multiple times. And okay, but this, I will say, this was my first time. So even though I was hard on myself, I was also saying this is my first time. I can get better. I will learn more, but I also could have done more with posing. I thought I was okay, but I won't get into that. Regardless, I could have spent more time on that, and I understand that now. So that's number one. Number two, make sure you have your ducks in a row as far as your posing heels, your jewelry, your bikini, like a game plan, paying for the show. I could have afforded the show, but I didn't want to pay for it and not know if I was going to go through with it, because there's been times when I was going to compete in powerlifting competitions, I paid for it, and then I got injured or had a lot of stuff going on, didn't know if I was going to compete, and then you feel like you're stuck because you don't get a refund for that. So I didn't pay for the show yet, thank goodness. But needing to have a game plan to know when to know if I'm going to actually dedicate myself to this or not. Because at the end of the day, you don't get a refund for these types of things usually, unless it's an emergency. And even still, you don't usually get a refund. So, yeah. And also, I don't have my bikini. Yeah. So she forgot my order, unfortunately. That was a whole thing. And it's whatever. But I didn't know how long it was going to take to get it back. And I thought I'd have it by this month, and I still haven't. So I asked for a refund. Got a refund, but it's just like, I wouldn't have had a bikini to wear on stage because my show was 3 months ago. Even though I ordered it in like October. But it's fine. It's fine. You live and you learn. So I would have had my bikini prior to the show, definitely. And I would have also told myself just to do the best I can in the gym, push myself, but also not too hard. If I'm really struggling mentally or just like taxed from, work or exhausted, there are so many different variables. You can't be perfect in this. And even if it's your full-time job, it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel stressed. It's okay to not know if this is for you. It's okay to just do what you can for the day. If your day, percentage-wise, I always tell myself this, I tell my friends, everybody, if your best is like 30% that day and you give your 30%, you gave 100 because you did the best you could with what you had. Maybe you're having a bad day, maybe something's going on in the world, maybe just your mental health, your sleep, your spouse, or whatever. Like, there's so many variables that can impact your energy, your vibe that you're giving off. We all know this. We're not robots. We're not perfect. There's only so much chat GPT can do to fix your life. Not always a lot. So again, don't be so hard on yourself, especially with training, because I was hard on myself. And then I got injured because I was pushing too hard on a caloric deficit. Yeah. I was told I wasn't pushing hard enough, but that's neither here nor there. I was doing the best I could. I really was. Clearly, perfection is just different. So anyway, when you just don't give up and you do the best you can, you take breaks, you focus on how you feel, you look at yourself and make adjustments and just keep going. That honestly should be enough in general, in my opinion, even if you're a perfect athlete, because you can't get so dogmatic. Like I said, you can't get so into this and not have hobbies and a life, especially when you have a family and people that rely on you. You can still be super dialed in, but you don't have to be so hard on yourself, because that really carries over your mental health. And I think even though I was physically exhausted, hormonally exhausted, emotionally exhausted, I was mentally exhausted more than anything. So, yes. And that's really everything I wanted to cover today. That's really, really, really it. So thank you so much for listening. I hope today's episode was interesting to you. Again, today is the last time I'm going to talk about bodybuilding for a minute. just because I'm kind of over it. I've shared everything about my journey, my story, my experience, and why I'm transitioning into doing other stuff. I'm just getting back in the gym for fun, doing compound movements like squat, bench, deadlift, learning a little Olympic weightlifting just for fun, doing bodybuilding, doing more like body weight exercises like push-ups and pull-ups. I want to learn how to do a muscle up. That's another goal I have this year. Just having fun in the gym again. That's so important. I actually make the best progress in the gym when I have fun. I knew that going into this, but it is what it is. So anyway, if you found today's episode helpful, please be sure to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also Spotify under the Powerful Pod. Follow me on Instagram. It really helps support me because I want to keep doing this podcast. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of people that I'd like to have on in the future as guests because it's great to have these fun back and forth conversations. Not that I don't like talking. I can talk to you by myself, but I like to talk to other people too. So help me get the word out about health and fitness and wellness and mental health. That would be wonderful. So thank you so much again. And I am so proud of you. I'm always going to close with this, by the way. This is my little shtick. I am so proud of you for taking the first step in whichever this new journey may be. I just want you to know that you are amazing and you are powerful. Bye, guys.